week's episode of One Punch Man, the Earth is being invaded by Lord Boros, the Dominator of the universe. Can Saitama stop him? Find out in my review. Also, if you guys would like to see my reaction to this week's episode of One Punch Man, there will be a link to that video in the description box below. The destruction of mankind is near imminent in this week's episode of One Punch Man as the heroes of Earth battle against some mutant aliens. This episode right here is exactly what the Doctor ordered, and it had a lot of creativity behind it. And it also had a lot of Saitama badassery. The main reason to check out this week's episode is that Saitama is about to battle the leader of these aliens, Lord Boros, who has an amazingly awesome and sharp design, which is incredibly over the top, which is perfect for this character because he is known as the Dominator of the universe. He's so powerful that he has become bored, and he's been searching for a prophesized opponent. His opponent, of course, is going to be Saitama, the One Punch Man himself, who just exudes so much manliness and badassery in this week's episode that it's amazing. It's also just continuing to be one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Saitama's overall expressions are just amazing, how deadpan he is. Even after running into Lord Boros and seeing how amazing he looks, he's really not all that impressed. They exchange names and they get ready to battle. Now, I almost thought the episode was going to end when Saitama, of course, punched Lord Boros, but apparently his armor protected him. Although I still have a feeling that he should have been defeated, but this leads me to believe that Lord Boros might be the very first opponent who can actually take multiple hits from Saitama, and might even be able to deal out some damage. After his armor is destroyed, Lord Boros goes through a transformation which is an absolute feast for the eyes. Just an explosion of electrical colors. He looks so cool in his final form as he runs towards the screen, cutting to black. This was a great way to end this episode, and it's a great promise that the next one is just going to be insane. As cool as the Lord Boros scene, one of my favorite scenes from this episode is where Saitama takes on this one alien who looks kind of like this strange human octopus, sort of like a crossbreed with the anti-spiral from Gurren Lagann, and Saitama doesn't even bother to punch this guy, who has these psychic abilities which revolve around gravity, so he's able to, like, just change the gravity whenever room that he's in. But Saitama just picks up this piece of debris, just casually tosses it at his face, which just explodes in this amazing mess of blue and ridiculous alien goo. It's amazing. And while Saitama is indeed the star of this week's episode, we got to see some action from the other heroes like Silverfang, Metal Bat, Prisoner, Atomic Samurai as they fight against that giant monster which keeps contorting its body and transforming and separating, and they actually learn its weakness in this episode. Apparently they all have these vital marbles, as they call them. Basically it's like the living core of these creatures. If they can destroy them, they're going to die. Metal Bat, in particular, in this episode was fantastic. There was this great sequence where they were all teaming up together, and the camera sweeps combined with just the impact of their hits really made this one of the coolest action scenes from the series. It's always cool getting to see these other heroes actually do something. I really hoped that Genos was going to do something, but we also have this scene where the giant spaceship is about to destroy everything with all of these big freaking like shell casings, and then Tornado comes in, stops them all with her psychic powers, and then relaunches them back at the ship. It's all sorts of kick-ass, my friends. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Punch Man? This is basically a glorified build-up to the final episode of the series, which I pray is not going to be the real final episode of One Punch Man. I think the series is popular enough to where it could continue on with a second season, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But this episode right here was great because it was sort of like a culmination of the entire series. All the new heroes are here. Saitama's getting ready to finally maybe kind of try fighting against someone. And then we even get characters like Sonic returning for a cameo, as well as the House of Evolution guys. You remember the cyborg gorilla? Yeah, he even makes a cameo in this episode. We got to see Tornado in action. We got to see lots of cool stuff from Metal Bat. Silverfang jumping through the face of that one dude and grabbing his vital marble. That was just freaking awesome right there. Prisoner just being just a massive force of muscles and nakedness is always funny, and Atomic Samurai is really cool too. But really, that final scene with Saitama and Lord Boros is what really made the episode for me, just for the overall style of it all. Just Lord Boros going through his transformation, looking really awesome with all those lightning effects and colors, and then Saitama with just a deadpan expression. Although when he entered that room after punching the door, he had this aura around him which looked so freaking awesome! And of course, Lord Boros wants to actually fight against him when he sees that because he realizes and recognizes he's the strongest person on the planet. So I really cannot wait to see what they're going to do with the final episode. It's kind of hard to believe that we're already at the final episode. This series has just gone by in an instant, and that's because it's just so damned entertaining. The good news is there are going to be some more OVAs in the future, so we are going to be able to see some more stories from the One Punch Man universe. If they're going to be like the last one, they're probably going to be like a supplement where they're going to sort of expand on the side characters, or maybe even Saitama himself. All I know is, as soon as this anime series is done, I think I'm going to have to start reading the manga version, because I'm really enamored with the world. I think the characters are really fun, and I just really want to see what's going to happen next. There haven't been too many anime series that have like made me really want to read the manga, and it's really tough because there's another series that I really love, Attack on Titan, one of the most popular freaking series right now. I've only watched the anime version of that series. I have not cracked and looked at the manga version quite yet. And for this one, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I think I really am going to have to look at the manga version. That being said, let's just see how they're going to wrap up this anime series. I cannot wait to see next week's episode. I hope you guys will all join me. I'm going to do another live reaction to that episode as well, so make sure to check that out. So, I love this episode right here. Just like the rest of the series, it continues to be damn near perfect. So, I'm going to give this one right here a 5 out of 5. Action-packed, funny, intense. That's this week's episode of One Punch Man. But if you did watch this week's episode, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Were you really shocked when Saitama didn't finish off Lord Boros in one punch? How is Lord Boros going to fight against Saitama? Did you have a favorite scene from this episode? Maybe a favorite moment? What do you want to see from the final episode of One Punch Man? Please tell me in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And like I said, make sure to check out my reaction to this episode. There will be a link for that in the description box below. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!